What are we doing again?
Oh my god. Hey everyone, welcome back to JR Pro Shop Vids. Today we're going to teach you some tips and tricks for making more spares. Don't forget about our promo code at shop.boofabowling.com, 10% off your order.
Get yourself a spare ball.
So Jordan, with spare shooting, what's the most common mistake you see?
The most common mistake I see on the lanes is people hooking at their spares. If you're left-handed and you're hooking at the right side, vice versa for the right. That's the most common mistake I see. People think they throw it good, either over hooks, under hooks, and you get a big dash on the scoreboard.
I agree. Another common mistake that we see is people using their reactive ball and trying to throw it straight at spares. A lot of times you see the ball going down the lane and the weight block inside the ball wants to carry it in one direction and you end up missing the spare. Is there anything else you see out there in tournaments and league play?
As far as single pins go, yeah, for sure. I see people leaving a 10 pin and you're right-handed, going straight down the boards, like straight down 5 and trying to hit the 10. Not using enough of the lane, so they're only, if they miss a little bit right, falls in the ditch. But if you're using a lot of the lane, going over 4th arrow, miss a little bit right, still gonna hit that 10.
Yeah, it totally maximizes the amount of room you have on either side of that pin.
Exactly.
So we've talked a lot about the tactical mistakes that a lot of players make. What about on the mental side?
I often see lots of bowlers, you know, they hate the 10 pin, they hate the 7 pin, right? They always come back, oh man. That type of negative self-talk can really impact your spare shooting game, right? You're not gonna have confidence shooting straight at the 10, right? You're gonna have the yips, so to speak.
I hate the 10 pin. I already missed this twice. Don't screw this up. I can't afford another dash. Just don't suck.
Can you stop rubbing the ball? So going hand in hand with negative self-talk can be not being in the moment. Maybe you're thinking about the last shot you threw. Maybe you're thinking about the move for that. Maybe you're thinking about the last spare you missed. You're not focused on the pin that's right in front of you. All right, Jordan, so what would you recommend to bowlers to help them make more spares?
So if you're having trouble keeping the ball straight, if you're trying to use your reactive and having trouble keeping it straight down the lane, I would say you go right to a polyester. T-zone or ice from Storm, you know, it's gonna go dead straight. It's not gonna hook at all, right? Super slippery surface, right? It's just gonna glide along the oil, go dead straight all the way to the 10, 7, whatever you're shooting. Then the next step up, we got a mix from Storm. It's actually urethane, a little bit more durable, a little bit more expensive, but you're gonna get much more use out of it. And then next we got the actual urethane from Storm. Dual purpose, right? Short patterns. And also if you're able to throw it straight, you know, this can be a great spare ball too if you only have 4 or 6 balls in your bag, right? Dual purpose urethane.
I mean, Jordan, it doesn't have to be Storm.
Yes, it does.
We have other options at Brunswick. All right. We've covered some of the common problems we see in the spare shooting game. What are some of the things that good spare shooters do?
Why don't you answer this question?
I'm not a good spare shooter.
So good spare shooters, they're using a system, right? You're gonna stand in the same spot, you're gonna target the same arrow or dot or whatever you look at for every single pin there is. Every house is gonna be the same. They're all gonna have arrows. Most of the noob centers have hash marks down lane and they all have the dots at the front and the dots on the approach. So if you're a good spare shooter, you're gonna stand on the same dot, aim for the same target, no matter what center you go to. Spare shooting is a system, right? You miss your arrow, you miss your target, you're gonna miss a spare. Simple. So when you're shooting spares, I know you leave a single pin, you know, you might not think it's that difficult, but you still gotta go through your pre-shot routine, you still gotta visualize, right? Spares are super important.
And let's not forget about positive self-talk. Let's leave that last shot in the past and focus on what's right in front of us.
Before you throw the 10, you know, self-talk, some confidence, right? I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna hit my mark.
So in addition to going straight at your spares, it's important to use as much of the lane as possible. That gives you the most amount of miss room on either side of that pin.
Great point, Barks. Ball 8.5 inches wide, the pin is about 3 inches, and then on the other side of that pin you got another 8.5 inches. That's a lot of inches to hit a single pin.
It's like half the lane.
Pretty close.
All right, Jordan, you're a PBA champion. What's your... All right, Jordan, you're a PBA regional champion. What's your system for attacking spares?
For all single pins, I go straight over the 4th arrow. So the 4th arrow is my pivot point, right? So if I'm shooting the 10, I'm gonna line up on the left side of the approach, right over 4th arrow, smoke the 10. If I leave a 7, I'm on the right side of the approach, right over 4th arrow, gonna smoke the 7. And then everything in between. I'm taking the lane out of play 100% because I'm bowling on totally different conditions every week. So I just want it to be the same.
Well, not all spares are single pins. What about the multi-pin leaves?
Such as?
2/8.
Ooh, the sleeper.
Yeah.
Tough.
Buckets.
Those are tough. I'm bowling on a really tough condition and I'm not sure what the ball's gonna do hook-wise. I'm gonna go straight. Buckets, 2/8, 3, 6, 9, 10, going dead straight, taking the lane out of play. Tough spares, right? The scoring pace is super low. You know, I don't mind going 6-3 on a 3, 6, 9, 10 there, just get as many pins as I can. Because if I try and hook it, I could get 0.
And how about with splits? You're always going for count?
Yeah, this is a very underrated question. Even if I leave a Greek church, you know, I'm gonna go for 3. Those pins add up a lot at the end of the tournament. The only time I'm gonna actually try and make the spare is if I'm bowling a 1v1 match and I need to spare to win. That's the only time I'm gonna go for a split.
Yeah, in the case of when you're on a double and you leave a Greek church, taking 3 versus taking 0, it's a 6-pin swing. It's huge.
Especially if the scoring pace is really low. Those 6 pins, you're gonna need those at the end of the 8-game block or 10-game block or whatever you're bowling. You're gonna leave splits, tough condition, you're gonna leave splits, washouts, right? Just go for the pin, right? Never mind making the spare. Oftentimes on low scoring conditions with big fields, 60 to 80 players, 6, 12, 20 pins at the end of the day could mean a spot in the cut or in the cash.
So what's a good way that somebody can go about practicing spares?
Well, if your center is capable of setting up individual pins, ask the front desk if you can do that and just shoot the 10 for 3 frames and then move on to the 3, the 2, and then the 7. You got most of the lane covered there. But if your center can't do that, try and pick the 10 clean. Try and pick the 7 clean, right? Go back and forth. Don't want to get too comfortable shooting the same thing over and over again, right? Mix it up, back and forth.
So at the end of the day, why should we care about practicing our spares?
Unless you're throwing 300 every game, you're gonna leave some sort of spare. For the 180 average bowlers, like half of your frames are gonna be spare shots, right? It's super important. Easiest way to up your average is to practice your spares. Get good at those. Quick Jungo story time. When I was a teenager, I used to get made fun of for whiffing spares. Called me Dash, right? Started practicing them. My average went up. Started doing well in tournaments. Started cashing, started making cuts, and then eventually started winning some big tournaments. So you gotta make the spares, right? It keeps the momentum going. You want a double and then an open? No good. Double spare? Good. To everyone's surprise, spare ball, most used ball in everyone's bag. People don't know that. Just like a putter in golf. Most used club. Gotta be good.
Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and check our links on social media. Let us know in the comments below, what's the craziest spare you've ever made?
Practice your spares, folks. Just like I'm making Simoo do right now.